What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Keeping It Real podcast. This is one of the first video podcasts, and I got two special guests with me. And invested in a nice camera and a little mini setup right now. So I'm excited to get more video podcasts going. But to kick off the video podcast, I got my friends Sam and Sunny here today. We've been in Miami for a week together, been having fun. I've known Sunny for like 2 years. Met Sam this week, it's been an awesome time. Basically, I wanted to get them on, talk to you guys more about their entrepreneurship journey, what they're working on, and overall just talk about life, business, mindset, anything related to entrepreneurship, and I guess life in general. But to start, what I would like, for you guys to do is go ahead and introduce yourselves, just talk a little bit more about what you guys do, and we'll go from there. You want to start, Sam?
For sure. So, I'm Sam. I started e-commerce, I would say about 3 years ago. I assume that's what most of your audience is doing. Mm-hmm. I had an interesting start in college. I started a gym, got a little bit of the entrepreneurship taste. It wasn't really for me. I didn't love the brick and mortar concept, but it was fun while I was in college. I sold out of that, moved back home, did what I thought I was supposed to do. This is like the typical entrepreneur's, come up story, whatever you want to call it. But I had a corporate job. I was using my finance degree. The parents were happy. It was a good job. Everything was cool, but it was just nothing like I envisioned, how I wanted to live my life whatsoever. So I'll just kind of stay high level. But I started to dabble in Amazon. I started doing some online personal training. I was marketing myself a little bit. I was learning ClickFunnels and Shopify and all that good stuff. And then I eventually kind of got out. I was working for a organic alcohol company, so that was when I left corporate. Kind of finessed my way where I didn't really have to do much. I kind of set up systems, and I was just texting reps or distributors. They were getting all my positioning for me. I was staying home and I was working on my dropshipping businesses. So at that point, I think I had like 3 stores, all doing pretty well. I was definitely out earning my 9-to-5 job, I guess you could call it. And that lasted like 3-4 months until I got fired, and then it was just the rest was history. So we'll get more into it about what we're working on now. But yeah, I got really into dropshipping, e-commerce, a couple other things here and there. But that's just kind of high level how I got into this whole thing.
That's awesome. And you said, when was this, when you were still working a job in the alcohol company? 2 years ago?
Oh man, this was, it was about 3 years ago now. Yeah, a little over 3 years ago.
So you've been in this for just 3 years in the industry of e-commerce,
Yeah, if you want to count like when I was doing I was selling like posture braces when that was big. I had an FBA store. I wasn't making any sort of money, but I had all my inventory with Amazon, and then I started a Shopify store and I linked the inventory. So I don't know, that was like my first, so that was like 4 years ago, but I wasn't making any sort of money. I was buying everyone's courses and when they'd pop up on my Instagram feed and whatnot. I was just trying to learn. But actually doing it and making real money, I'd say 3 years.
Wow. And what introduced you to e-commerce?
I gotta say it was the algorithm on Facebook ads and whatnot is clearly very strong. I just was not happy with what I was doing, and I know I was engaging with all those ads that are like, hey, do you want to want to work remote, you want to do this, you want to do that, and I was just one of those guys, like one of the millions of people that get brought in by that, and it just worked out. We'll get more into it, but it was one of those things. You just have to be super, super resilient. Right. You started off dropshipping, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and it's, you think you're going to make all this money. You think if you purchase a course, that automatically means you're going to become, a millionaire, and that just wasn't the case. So, that's what got me into it, really. It was just those ads. I was buying courses. I was trying things out. I was having issues. I wasn't making any money, but I was learning.
That's awesome. Very, very interesting. I think a typical entrepreneur's journey into e-commerce or dropshipping. So it's nice to see, I guess, someone come out of it on top versus a lot of people, I guess, fail just trying.
It's just resilience, man. It's just resilience. at the end of the day.
100%. Sonny,
We started around the same time, no?
You a little after me, because I think you started end of 2018 or early Jan.
Yeah,
One of those ones.
one of those two.
But yeah.
My name is Sunny. I'm from Toronto. How did I get into the e-commerce journey? Honestly, I was still in uni. I didn't want to drop out of uni. My dad wanted me to complete my university degree, which I did. And I don't know, I used to own Instagram pages. I used to like sell shout outs. I used to make my money off of that. Like a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 were like good enough for me. Like I just needed money to go out. Until this one guy, I won't say the name, but I think you know who I'm talking about, kept buying shout outs, and I kept going from like charging him $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000. He kept buying them. I'm like, why the fuck does this guy constantly keep coming back? And then I just asked him, like, yo, what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. Kept buying it, and I kept increasing the price, and he kept buying it. So obviously there's like...
He was cashing out.
He was cashing out. He was doing something.
Low.
Exactly. He was doing something. And that's how he taught me everything. And then I met Jimmy, who introduced me and you. And then ever since then, I've just been in e-commerce. I've been doing other things like exports. Anyone that wants to do exports, I put them onto it. And then vice versa for e-commerce as well.
Wow.
So that's how I got into it. It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I mean, I know you for doing a lot of different things and actually succeeding in it. What made you want to stick to e-commerce and kind of go in, I guess, more long-term, or really dedicate your time and energy into it?
I just liked it. I had fun.
Yeah.
Like doing e-commerce, I actually liked. Not so much like those quick cash grab stores. I hated the fact that like my first store was a cash grab store. It was an AirPod store. I did really good on that. Not even gonna lie. Everyone did pods. I think at one point I had like 4 pod stores ripping.
Really?
Yeah, like 4 of them, just going crazy.
Sonny claims to be the OG pod seller.
Me and Jimmy, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy discovered the product. Like, not even gonna lie. Like, we were scared. I think you did it around that time too.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
scared.
Yeah. It's not my story. Yeah.
It's so funny. We'll like meet people and like that do e-commerce, and we'll start talking, and then like pods come up, and they'll like say their store name, and everyone's like, "Fuck, I knew that."
This guy took my
I knew
shit.
your store.
I've had a couple of people take my stuff as well. I
Yeah.
remember even I did the same thing, and then I met the guy like maybe a year later, and he was like, "Oh, that was you?" I was like, "Yeah."
That's very interesting. It's funny to look back at, but
yeah.
man, that's awesome. I guess what's next is, and what I liked about bringing you guys on, and I've never had partners on this podcast, and it will be interesting to hear a whole different perspective, because even for me, a lot of times I am a solopreneur. I have teams and people, I guess, that work with me or like partner on certain things, but I haven't worked with like a partner directly. And I mean, first I would love to hear how you guys met and how you guys decided to become partners, but also just talking about the benefits of having partners, why you guys actually like working together versus just doing things alone, and just the whole other side of doing business, which is doing it with somebody else rather than yourself.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was going solo for a while, and it was just true. I was going solo for a while, and it was fun. I mean, it was exciting just because it was my first time getting into the whole entrepreneur thing. But like, I think that it all has to go back to your personality, in my opinion. But I work better when I have a partner and there's some accountability there. I think that that's huge, and I also think that when you combine strengths, I mean, obviously someone's gonna lean one way, they're better at this, and that, and you're better at this, and I think that it kind of takes the tediousness out of it for me, because luckily with Sonny, a lot of the things that he liked to do and that he excelled at wasn't really my strong suit. So
Staying up until 4 a.m.
Actually, for sure. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, my success really, really started happening when I started partnering. I mean, I was making decent money. I had stores running. I never really hit that next level until I actually partnered with someone on a store. That was like my first, I was making more going 50-50 than I was when I was solo, making a few $100s a day or whatever.
Wow. How about you? The same way?
Nah, I didn't really ever partner up with anyone until then.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. I swear to God.
Really?
Yeah, I never partnered up with anyone until I met Sam, like all my stores.
Uh-huh.
Well, Jimmy I did because he taught me everything pretty much from Facebook ads to a couple of other things. But besides that, like, yeah, having a partner I think like really solves problems. Like, he goes to sleep early, gets up early, I go to sleep late, I get up late.
Right.
So when I'm up, like, he's already done the stuff that I've already like completed. So it works out.
Yeah, we joke. We're like
it's actually more efficient.
We're like a 24/7 operation.
Yeah.
Like, I'll wake up sometimes, my alarm will go off, and Sonny's still sending me updates. At like 6:30, I'm like, bro, go to bed. Like, I'm
It's either that or I'll like rant about something. Like, I'll send a massive ass paragraph. I'll do something. I don't know, but it works out.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard a lot of horror stories about, partners, like some people screwing them over or, something not working out. Oh, I did more work, blah, blah, blah. And what makes you, other than just, you guys complementing each other's strengths and weaknesses, what do you think are some other reasons that makes you guys work together and, I guess, work together to achieve something bigger versus, actually, like, destroying each other, like, it being destructive? Because I think you guys have heard it as well, and I don't know if you've experienced in the past, but usually when it's when money's involved and you're partnering sometimes with the wrong people, it can go wrong.
100%.
I guess outside of the complementary of weakness and strengths, I would love to hear more about your guys' success and just partnership.
I mean, at the end of the day, for me, like, it's just more fun. Like, if you find someone that you mesh with and you work well with, in my opinion, it's just more fun working with a partner. I don't know why. It's just, I enjoy it more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
If you have a picky partner, then fuck that. Nah.
Right.
Yeah. If you have a partner that's picky on everything, because you're not picky, neither am I, and I don't think you are either. But
no, we barely butt heads. Like, he'll call me and be like, "Yo, I'm gonna do this, and that," and I already did this, and I'm like, "Okay, cool." Like, I trust what he's doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that that's huge. Another thing I wanted to touch on from your point is, we weren't boys before we started working together.
Right.
It's not like we knew each other for 10 years, we were good friends, and then all of a sudden we're like, hey, let's start a business together. Like, I literally, so funny pods, I heard that I was selling the i12s or whatever, I was getting them for like, I can't even remember anymore, $11, something like that. They were the good i12s, whatever, like, who knows. And someone was like, yo, you need to contact Sonny, because he's got the plug. I don't know. He's got this cheap pricing, whatever. And I got in contact with him. And I was like, "Hey, I'm doing good volume. Like, you can mark it up. You can do this. You can do that. Like, let's, can I get your supplier?" And he's just like, "No." Like, would not. Bro, he would not. I was like, dude, he would not give me his supplier. But that's like how we got in contact. So it was because of business that brought us together, and we would hop on calls and kind of like trade secrets about Facebook ads and like what we're doing, what we're working on, and then naturally we just started a store together, and it went from there. And then we became friends after. So I think that's a totally different dynamic, and there's a different level of respect.
I agree, 100%.
Do you agree?
I do agree. Yeah. Have you guys worked with friends and it not work out, or something like that? I had
It could work out like that.
It could.
But it didn't. We'll never find out.
No, in the past, I mean, the gym thing that I started was with two friends. It went well. I mean, it was fine. We didn't really butt heads. I don't know, man. I think it's a lot of, it's hard to say.
Situational?
It's there's so many different factors that play into that. But I can think of friends off the top of my head right now, really good friends that I would never do business with. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just, I think you just gotta know. I mean, if it doesn't work, you get out quick. Like, that's another thing, is people push it too long. They're like, oh, maybe it'll get better. No, if it's not working and you're not having fun and things aren't getting done, then you're better off just kind of separating and going, together as friends. But
right. I like the point you made on the trust and then, not butting heads, and I think that's a huge thing, is that you guys trusting each other.
I think trust is everything.
I agree.
Sonny's held so much of my money at points.
So much. Like, even with our warehouse stuff, like, we probably owe them at least $500,000 a mil So they don't ask. Like, it's just
now they see
trust.
now they see the podcast, they start asking.
That's relationships in China.
That's all
bro.
trust.
China
Like,
is like all trust.
It took me
all of our warehouse, like factories and stuff.
2 years.
So speak a little louder.
It took me 2 years to make that trust, and like, I don't think, like, even when I've taken a loss on things, I still made sure that, like, the person that provided their service, which was our team, got paid. But me and Sam still haven't got paid.
Right.
So it's like that trust, it took time, and now we're at the point where, like, it's so, like, strong, like, it asks for anything and it'll happen.
Wow.
That's how it is with exports as well, like, trust.
Right.
It has to be. Everything's trust. If you don't trust a person, you don't work with the person.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very interesting and true. Let's transition from you guys, working together in e-commerce, building some successful brands, succeeding in that industry, and transitioning into what you guys do now, which is fulfill. And I'm gonna get you to explain.
Fulfilling,
my bad.
Yeah,
That's important.
That's
Yeah.
important.
I keep on thinking at fulfill, that's why.
Yeah.
But the fulfilling company, I would love for you to talk more about, I guess your transition from e-commerce to what you guys are doing now.
For sure.
And just first explaining what the business is and what made you guys want to transition into this.
Yeah, so fulfilling on Instagram. I mean, it's kind of our baby right now. I don't want to speak for Sonny, but at least personally, the reason that this was so attractive to me was because I did e-commerce. I was drop shipping. I was dealing with all the issues that come with it. Merchant processors, Facebook ad accounts going down. Products just dying. Like, you think you have this awesome brand, you're making a ton of money, and then before you know it, everything, it just stops working. And that's fine. That's the business model. Like I said earlier, it's, you got to be super resilient to be in this space. But I think that personally, I was always kind of longing for something more long-term, something that felt more stable. And at the same time, I wanted to help fix those issues for people, because I always say that the drop shipping fulfillment model, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, the reason it's gotten a bad name is because it's a newer concept, and it was really easy to take advantage of that system. I mean, you're selling cheap products from China. You're never doing any sort of quality control. You probably never even see the product, and all of a sudden you're doing thousands of sales a day.
Right.
And it's taking 2 months, 3 months sometimes for the end customer to get the product. It wasn't really I didn't see it as something sustainable. And people always ask, like, is drop shipping, dead? Is drop shipping dying? Whatever. In my opinion, the old way to drop ship, of course. Like,
Right.
There's absolutely no way that that's going to continue. If that's your business model right now, awesome. Keep running it up, keep making money. But you got to start looking for better solutions, for customer service and whatnot.
Right.
Keeping the people happy, building these longer term brands. And that's what fulfilling is. So what we were able to do is leverage the volume that we were doing personally through our own brands. We got our own warehouse. We hired our own in-house teams, our own sourcing agents. I say sourcing agents. They're people that actually go to the factories and negotiate on our behalf. We don't use any middleman, anything like that. And what we were able to
build the relationships.
And build the relationships, which is everything. We joke, there's a different pricing model. Like, people don't know this, but like, if you just go through AliExpress, you get connected to a sourcing agent or something, you're getting a totally different price. It doesn't matter how much volume you're doing. If you don't have that relationship and that trust that we were talking about earlier, you're not getting access to. They're marking you up pretty nicely.
Because they don't know how long you're going to be around. Just because you're going to say, hey, I'm the next biggest store, or hey, I'm going to be around for 2 years, 3 years, and they don't know that. So
they calculate that risk in the price. They know it's not long term. They're going to cash out really quick. It's a dropshipping brand. It's going to last 2-3 months.
Because imagine how many other people are going to that same supplier and being like, yo, I got this product. I'm doing hundreds of orders a day. Give me the best rate.
Right.
They say they're giving you the best rate, but it's like that's impossible.
They're not stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, what we were able to do is we almost fell into this, right? Like, we did it for personal reasons. We're like, let's get a warehouse, let's build our own operation over there so that we can go directly to these factories and negotiate, bulk pricing, bring them into our warehouse and fulfill in-house.
Right.
it was a proof of concept up until like the beginning of 2020, I'd say.
Yeah.
We had a couple people we were fulfilling for. It wasn't called fulfilling or anything like that. We were just hooking people up and making a tiny margin. And it honestly just, it snowballed. Like, you know, people in this space talk, you know, word spreads fast. And before we knew it, we had like 10 clients, I guess you would call them, that we were fulfilling for.
Wow.
And we're like, all right, we've got something real here. You know, we're able to beat AliExpress prices. We're able to beat sourcing agent prices, and we're able to ship express, you know, in 8 to 12 days typically. Right. Depending on where we're shipping. To the US right now, it's like 8 to 12 days express. And the reason that we can do that is we go directly to the factory. We negotiate a bulk order. We're not getting drop shipping prices, anything like that. We assume that risk. We take that risk on. We bulk it into our warehouse, and then we fulfill from there. Right. So we're, with the relationship, going there in person, you know, doing the bulk pricing, we're able to get such a low price per unit. We can still add our margin on as a company and still beat those AliExpress prices and sourcing agent prices and get you express shipping. Right. So that was a long-winded you know, answer to what fulfilling is and how it came to be. But we're excited, and I mean, we haven't really we haven't opened up to the public. We're just working with kind of like a small group of people right now. But I'll let Sonny kind of get into the software and whatnot, like what we're doing next.
Oh yeah, and then after like what 5 months into it, I think, we started seeing like, holy shit, like this shit works. Like we're doing something good. And then like every day I would just think about like all these other things that don't need to be priced. For example, like adding tracking onto your store. Companies would charge you hundreds a month just to have that feature available. Right. And then same thing with like calculating your daily profits on your store. Mm-hmm. Companies would charge you hundreds of dollars just to do that. But the thing is, it's never accurate because the product cost is always, it varies, right? So you could put it in like a rough estimate, hey, it's $13 per unit or $14, but they'll never know because shipping to different countries is a little different. Shipping to the UK is cheaper, shit like that. So
all those different variants, you have everything. So it's a lot of manual hours to sit there and
do that. Yeah. So we considered all that into our software. So we were building it out. We were talking to our team. Initially, we had nothing. We just had like a basic software that was like, hey, and it just has to pick up orders, send it to the warehouse. They have to fulfill it, and it'll do everything. Mm-hmm. But then we looked at it. We're like, oh, all these softwares out there that do exactly that. That's basic. That's like 10,000, 20,000. You can make like a decent system. But then again, like he didn't say no. I just told him like, yo, I want to do this, 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 and that. He's like, yo, go for it. And I ended up going from something that would cost us 20,000, but almost nearly 100,000 now, and we're still not done. It's about to be 6-7 months, but the value that's in the software is ridiculous. It's crazy. Right. Like we have like, hey, you want shipping, right? Typically a VA, from a VA's perspective, if a customer asks a question, they have to go on Shopify, they have to get their order number, and it'll redirect them to 17track.net.
Mm-hmm. Which looks sketchy.
And then same thing with the customers. When they want to check their orders, order numbers, or their tracking number, it'll redirect them to 17track.net. So shout out to our coders, because I don't know how they did it, but they did it to the point where now everything is available on our software. And it's so quick. It's like we store that data. You don't even need internet. So that's like the best part. Like once it's stored, VAs that are in the Philippines, they have internet problems all the time. They don't need internet to use the software. Everything's there. Wow. So getting information on their tracking is there. If from a store perspective, it's like if I was an owner, I would want to know how fast my orders are being delivered. Those stats are there. I would want to know how much profit I'm making every single day, because if you're doing volume, product cost is all over the place. That's the one thing that...
So it varies, right?
Yeah, it varies. So we created a whole separate dashboard just for that, just so they could calculate their profits, just so they could do all that good stuff. And then they could add their VAs, analytics, they could cancel orders. We insure all our products, so we handle any orders that are damaged, any aren't arrived or whatever. We'll reship it out for free. So that's like just something that we have, and that's available on the software. We just put a lot of money and effort into it where it just works really nicely now. Like no one has it. Like we've tested a lot. We've seen a lot of different softwares. They just don't have what we have.
Right. I think what I liked is that you guys, started a business, seeing like a problem in the market and creating a solution. But not only that, like really, you're talking about solving all these problems that you guys went through, as e-commerce people. It's like you're saying, the variance in product price, the I guess the unorganized, just like tracking and all of that for the customer and the actual person selling it. Yeah. And I think that's really awesome, and that's why I feel like you were talking about the transition. And I guess that's the next topic, is the transition from just B2C, selling things to consumers, having e-commerce brands, to now more B2B, having a service-based business where you guys, I guess you have to talk to people, it's like clients and such. What has been the transition like, not only in like the workflow, of course, but maybe the different skills you have to acquire, the different things that is needed in this business, and also I guess the long-term vision or the focus. Would love to hear the transition and I guess even the mindset of thinking behind this now.
For sure. I mean, it was weird at first, just because when you're drop shipping, or you're working on Shopify, you've got a store or whatever, it's like you're very in the weeds. I mean, and that, at least I was. I don't know, maybe people have built out systems where they're not as in the weeds, but I was very, we're in Facebook ads every day, we're split testing, we're making new creatives, we're doing this, we're doing that, on multiple different stores, and it's like it's an emotional roller coaster. I mean, I always joke, but like my mood would be determined by how well my stores were doing.
Right.
Like I was way too happy if everything was going great, and then when all of a sudden Facebook shuts down my entire VM, you're not making money anymore. So it was just this weird like up and down. I kind of think I got addicted to it a little bit. Like it's kind of like it's fun. But anyway, like transitioning into what we're doing now, as cliche as it sounds, like it really, really is going to change the game for dropshipping. In my opinion, I don't think anyone has any reason to use AliExpress anymore or a sourcing agent. That's a bold statement, but like I really, everything's automated. You're not sending CSV files anymore. Like you're getting cheaper pricing, you're getting faster shipping, you're getting quality control. You're working with US based, account managers. I really think that we're going to change the game for dropshipping, and then that's really been our vision and our goal this whole time. So it's a little bit different. Now we're managing teams and we're hiring people. We're on calls all day with coders, and we're still a little bit in the weeds right now. We're still managing a lot of our accounts and our clients, just because we want to see like what the main issues are, so that we can train our account managers when they start coming in. But it is a totally different mindset. It's a totally different day to day. But I mean, our goal now is more long term, as opposed to just what's the next winning product. How much can I make in a short period of time before everything gets shut down. Now it's more, how can I build this business for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, as e-commerce starts getting more and more popular and more people are selling online? How can we, meet their needs and adapt to the market and be the best fulfillment solution and fulfillment software out there?
Right. I think there's a huge longevity part to this, and we've talked about it as well. It's very beneficial for the consumer and the owner of the store. Even someone as me who runs emails, having good shipping could really, really help the business. Like, I think people don't understand.
You see it firsthand, all the customer complaints, and you're putting sequences in to make sure that you lower your chargebacks and stuff. That is probably the biggest problem in this. And then you were saying like that's why it's dead, is because more people are transitioning into better shipping. Or if we look at Amazon, they made this unrealistic expectation for everybody that you're supposed to get things right away. So now, like, you can't compete if you have horrible shipping. Exactly. So, you guys coming up with this solution, you can really help someone who just wants to start a dropshipping store and even transition into a long-term brand that can be something, because now you have a really good system in the back end for the fulfillment, for customer service, really making sure everything gets done. And you're less likely to have those, like, you were saying, the cash grab stores where it's like, okay, we're going to run it up, done.
Now it's more like, okay, we have something we can trust. We know the items are getting delivered. We know it's getting delivered on time. We know we're not dealing with some, Chinese people. We can't even we don't even know what's going on. We kind of
the communication barrier, language barrier.
All of that is there, and I think that's the best part. I would love to, I guess, talk about. You did talk about the software, right?
Yeah.
What you guys are doing more in the future, and you talked about the long-term goal of it, but just talking more about future of fulfilling and what you guys are what you guys are going to do moving forward outside of those things, or just different things you guys are seeing every day and doing every day to improve the service.
For sure. I mean, like I said, it's the fulfillment. The drop shipping is a fulfillment model. It's not a business model, and fulfilling is a solution so that I really think that there's nothing wrong with it. Like if you don't have the capital put into inventory right away, or you have this idea and you think it's going to work, you think it's going to sell, but you don't want to put $50,000 into inventory. Even if you have the $50,000, it's still risk. I mean, and it's still a whole process to get that bulked in and whatnot. So people are going to be able to continue to use the dropshipping fulfillment model and scale their businesses and not get caught up with all the issues that come along with the long shipping times and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, the future of fulfilling is really just continuing to adapt to the market and e-commerce as a whole, just because it's blowing up. Everyone knows retail is, it's still doing well, whatever, but especially with this whole COVID thing and all that, it really is clear how the market is going and how consumers are, deciding how they want to buy. You mentioned Amazon. People are, getting their products sometimes in the same day. I've ordered something on Amazon, I'll get it later in that day.
Right.
It's ridiculous. So there's just this expectation now. No one wants to sit in lines. Everything's moving online. And we want to continue to just be the best fulfillment solution for people that are still want to utilize that dropshipping fulfillment model. I keep saying dropshipping. I mean, we have a bunch of clients right now, not a bunch, we have a few clients that do bulk orders. I mean, I didn't even mention it because it's not something that we're really pushing to the public right away, but we do have a U.S. fulfillment center. So for people that are doing, large numbers and want to have inventory in the U.S. and ship in 1 to 5 days or whatever, we do have that solution. And that just goes to what you're saying, how can we continue to evolve? We saw that right away. We had a huge opportunity with a client. Do you guys have a U.S. warehouse? Does your ERP system automatically, understand the volume I do so that it can continue to keep stock in the U.S., blah, blah, blah. And we built that solution out for this client. So we're adapting to the changes. We're always trying to get better. I mean, quality control is huge. That's another thing that we're implementing that I guarantee no one else is.
Right.
These products, when they get into the warehouse, some are damaged, but a lot of people don't even look at that. That's a whole thing that we're going to help out with. There's all kinds of things, man. We've got a list. We have a list of things that we want to implement, it's really just a matter now of getting out there, getting something tangible to the market, which is this software. People can just press a button, put it on their store, start to get pricing, and in seconds, fulfill with fulfilling. But there's so many things that we want to do, to continue to evolve and be the best solution for these guys.
We have everything. We have the handles that we want, the names that we want, and we just did not start on those projects yet until fulfilling is done.
Right.
We have our own little brand that you know about. We've been working on that for well over a year now. It's been a year. So we kind of get the challenges that we have to deal with e-com, but the software is just going to solve them.
Right.
And that's why I'm trying to go more into the software game, just because we see so many problems chargebacks. That
you can, I guess, help.
Yeah. AI, all this stuff is expensive. I've even offered our coder a Tesla. I was like, yo, I'll buy you a Tesla. Just do everything for me. Remember that? I was looking online. I was like, okay, I got to find this guy a Tesla. But I actually want to do this long term, fully into it. Someone told me don't do everything at once. So that's why he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing, but we're equally focused on fulfilling day and night until it's done and it's ready to go. It's packaged up properly. Another thing that you didn't mention that we're adding is custom packaging. So
that's huge.
It's huge. Every single we're gonna have a section, instead of you emailing me your logo and doing it the old-fashioned way. It's just going to be on the software, slap your logo, you design your box. If it's a box, it's a box. If it's a package, it's a package. And yeah, it's crazy. It's just going to solve everything. Like, we're adding this stuff as we go, and it's done. It's going to launch Monday, but we're probably like wait until Chinese New Year's over and then start bringing on more people. But quality over quantity for sure.
100%. And going off of that, the reason we offer that is it's not that hard to do. From a we can handle that, and it is going to make the end customer's experience just. I mean, getting a package and it just has Chinese writing all over it. It took 2 months to get there. They're gonna charge that. Like,
no doubt.
They're pissed. It's not an enjoyable experience for the customer. Now it gets there in 8 days or whatever. 10 days. You've got a nice email sequence. Keeping them updated and whatnot, and then it comes nicely packaged. The brand's logos on it. They don't feel like they got drop shipped. We literally call it like where you got drop shipped. Like, I get drop shipped sometimes. I'll be on mine. Like, it takes like 2 months to get to me. I'm like, fuck. They got my ass. But yeah, like we're just really trying to change the game. Like I keep saying that, but there's so many things we want to do, and that's just one of those little things that's gonna totally change, the way that dropshippers operate and grow their businesses.
I think what I like is that you guys not only just transition from always make money, get this money, but now like doing something that helps the market and really working towards something that, like, I guess you guys have fun because you guys know how to make money. You guys can just run up brands all the time and such, but now with the software, even at times when you're not making as much money with it or like the outcome's not there, you guys are sticking to it, always saying, okay, I can make this better. We can solve this problem. We go from there. And I think that's the most beautiful thing is the willingness to get better for the sake of the consumer, of the client that you guys serve versus, okay, we're going to make a lot of money. I think, that is going to be the byproduct regardless. But I like to focus where it's at, just being, solving problems rather than just, okay, we have the software, we make money off our clients. And I think that's why you guys are going to win in the long term. This is going to be something that really dominates the e-commerce industry, and it's exciting to see for sure.
Yeah. It's definitely, it was tough at first, like the shiny object. I mean, going for 2 years, 3 years, drop shipping and running stores up and always checking my Shopify and seeing how many sales I'm getting, like, it was tough to transition into something more long term. It's not as you don't get that gratification right away.
I don't even have that. Yeah, I swear to God. Yeah. If our store's doing shit, it's doing shit. Like, that's what it was last year. If it was doing bad, it was doing bad until he messaged me, or until late at night I checked like the ad account or something. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even have access to it. It fucks me up.
Mentally?
Yeah, mentally. That's why I didn't go to stocks.
Oh wow, that makes sense.
And stocks. Remember as soon as COVID
made
hit,
one of the biggest plays on what did you
buy?
Neo. I just fucking dumped $100K plus into Neo.
He's never bought a stock.
$9
off of a TikTok. I swear to God.
He called me one day.
I did it off of
He's
TikTok.
like, "You want to do this together?" And I Googled Neo a little bit. And I'm like, "No, bro. No. What are you doing?"
It worked out, bro. I did it, and then every morning I would check, but it was at 20 something, and I doubled my money. And then it's at 40, 50 now almost,
I think. So you could have quadrupled.
It's retarded. And it wasn't even 10K. I literally dumped 150K into it. Wow. It just sat there. I dumped more money into Tesla. I just went crazy in the stocks for some reason. And then I was like, yo, Friday I'm pulling out. Fuck this. And just pulled out.
Right.
I went clubbing after. No.
She would have been rich as hell right now.
Yeah, but I don't like that kind of stuff.
It makes sense.
This year,
actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I told you this the other day too when we were walking. I was like, yo, this year it's about not making money, but spending money, putting it into proper
reinvesting.
Yeah.
If that's houses, it's houses. If it's property, it's property. If it's software, it's still an asset.
That is, yeah.
You got offered $1 million. I got offered $200K. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's not quick. It's not quick money anymore. It's building these long term, sustainable, and that's kind of what everyone eventually I think gets into. And this whole time we've been saying we got out of e-commerce because it wasn't long term sustainable. I don't believe that. I think that everyone watching that is doing dropshipping and they love it. There is a long-term aspect to that. I mean, you can build a really, really nice brand and run that thing up. Or you can get really good at drop shipping and, you know, fulfill actually good products and fast shipping. Like that is a realistic like way to make money, and we're not knocking that. It's just personally we saw a huge issue in the e-commerce space, and that's why we went into fulfilling.
Our very first client is still our client. He's drop shipping.
Right.
Yeah.
His birth of fulfilling.
Yeah.
He's been with us for a year plus now.
Yeah.
It's been good. He has
That's
custom
another
packaging.
thing. Our
Everything.
turnover is like non-existent. I mean,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is.
We help. Like we actually help. Like I hop on calls.
Yeah, so I used to do ads for people.
Yeah, I was like, yo,
Wow.
what the? I did it for free too. I was like, yo, as long as you're killing it, I'm happy. And then, yeah, it's fucking sick.
I guess the last thing I want to talk about in this podcast before we go, we talked a lot about your software, your journey. I think, you know, Sonny mentioned something, then that's a perfect segue to what I'm about to ask now, is like the mental side of it. The mindset side is, I'm assuming with e-commerce, you guys had obstacles all the time. You know, you talk about ad accounts, payment processors, this, that, and even like your mental state being reflected by how your performance, or even now with software, you know, I know for a fact every day you might just have like something, a little fire in your business that you got to put out or whatever.
Yep.
What are some things you guys do to, you know, I guess, push through that, how you look at obstacles or just kind of dealing with obstacles and problems that come along your way? Because, I mean, it doesn't matter what level you are at, I feel like that's always something that's going to be there. So just even, I guess, understanding your guys' relationship with obstacles and how you deal with it.
Yeah, man, when I first started this journey, I was rogue. I mean, there was no self-awareness going on. I was money driven. I think a lot of people start that way, right? Like, sometimes the fire under a lot of these people that get into e-commerce and drop shipping is literally just to make a lot of money. Like that's their one goal. And I gotta admit, like I fell into that, and I was chasing that shiny object, and I was making good money, but it was not like a sustainable way to live. And I don't know, we've talked a little bit about, you know, spirituality and meditation and, you know, taking care of your mind and body and whatnot. And that's when things, you know, really switched for me in business, is when I started to, you know, read books about that stuff. And this is so another cliche, but like take those cold showers, like Wim Hof breathing, meditating, like really getting my mind right. And that's helped me a lot with these obstacles and whatnot that you speak of. It's like, it doesn't matter. I was jumping from thing to thing always. I thought the grass was always green. I was going to do this and I was going to do that, and I was going to run this brand, that brand. And I've learned that like in any business and, you know, whatever you're doing, there are obstacles that you're going to have to get over. It's not going to be this clean ride to the top. Like, and really working on myself and, you know, my, you know, mentally and physically and whatnot has helped a lot with how I deal with these obstacles and whatnot. And it's just never going to go away. 100%.
Right.
It's there to stay.
I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah. Which is funny that we're like, we get along so well.
He does cold showers. I can't do cold showers.
I can't do that.
Yeah, fuck that. Nah. I don't know. For me, it was a little different. I was always at the dealership. That was my way of making money. Like I would use points. I had so much points. I would go into Mercedes. Like remember when we bought a Range Rover?
Yeah.
And then I went in there, bought a Range Rover, shipped it out, made money. Or I think we canceled that one, and then I got a check because they never issue you a refund. They always give you a check. I did that every month. I would go and spend like $50K and use $50K worth of points, and then that's how I got into e-commerce. I used my points.
You use your points on ads?
Yeah.
I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
Really?
That's how I got into it. Yeah, when I first did it, I used to export dealership to dealership to dealership. I would call like my really good friend. I'd be like, "Yo, we got this." Like he'll be like, "Yeah, put a down payment on it," and then I'd put 10K, 5K, whatever I could, and they give you a check back. You go deposit that, you pay off your Visa, you make those points.
Wow.
That's how I got like saved up. So worth it. Sick. And then I got into e-commerce. My first store was good. Second store was good. Third store was good. The only store that I fucked up on was with him. Our very first store
didn't work.
It didn't. It was a loss. Like, not that much, but it was like 5-10K.
Wow.
But yeah.
Interesting, man.
But yeah, man, I mean, obstacles and all that stuff, everyone knows. Like I said it in the beginning of this, like this industry, you just have to be so resilient.
Yeah.
And it's really the one thing that separates people that are successful in e-commerce and whatnot and people that aren't are like, how many times can you fail until you get that winning store?
Right.
Like literally, like
I remember our one store, it was a drop shipping store, and we had it up for like a year plus. I don't know what you did. You probably put some good energy to my ad account or something, but that paid score was done. That ad account was restricted. The BM was restricted, but the ads were active.
Yeah.
That shit was hitting like a 3-row every day for like a year.
Wow.
I was happy. He was happy, and I don't know what he did. It was under you.
That's
Everything was restricted, and like that's an obstacle. Like we went through that.
No doubt, man.
No,
doubt.
that goes back to like Facebook's finding out, like merchant processors are finding out that's this long shipping time, and we got shut down so many times that somehow we tripped up Facebook's system, and they kept putting us down. We had fast shipping and everything, it was fine. It's just people know. I mean, you can be running the most legitimate business in the world, Facebook's still going to give you issues. They're going to shut you down for no reason. The guy we were talking to has an agency, 60 stores under him or whatever business is. His agency got shut down. Like you just never know, when they're going to come and take you out. But yeah, man, it's resilience. That's all it is. It's just it doesn't matter what you're doing, what industry you're in. You're going to have issues. You're going to run into problems, and it's just how well can you work with people and communicate and overcome those obstacles.
Wow, man, it's been awesome hearing your guys' journey from e-commerce to what you guys are doing now, seeing the problem you guys are trying to solve in the market, and I think overall people that listen to this, enjoyed this. I mean, if you guys are in the e-commerce industry, you're doing drop shipping and actually doing good amount of orders a day, definitely hit up Fulfilling, because like we said, it solves a lot of problems that you might be facing, right? A reason that your payment processor might be shutting you down is because you're getting too many chargebacks because of the shipping. Same with Facebook or everything else that we talked about today. So if you guys are looking for that solution, I think these guys are the people. As you know, they're not someone that just are here for the money. They actually want to improve their service, provide the best service they can, and they truly care. I've stayed them for a week, and I've literally saw them they're at a level, like a whole different level, but they are taking the time to hop on calls with clients to actually fulfill any problems or needs, and I think that's why it's so special.
And we got a lot this week too.
Yeah, and then I think that's why this week or in general you guys want to succeed is because you guys do have that superior product, and you always strive to make it better. And I think long term that's going to pay off. So before we end this podcast, anything else you want to say? Before we go.
No.
No.
I mean, a lot of your listeners, is it all over the board? I mean, are most of them starting out with dropshipping?
Yeah. So even it could be agencies, e-commerce, but a lot of people, entrepreneurs, most in the e-commerce industry or the marketing industry.
Gotcha. I mean, if you're doing, if you're just starting out, I'll just keep harping on it. It is resilience. Like it didn't just get handed to anyone in this space, whether it's an email agency, a digital marketing agency for, businesses, or it's an e-commerce brand. It doesn't just come easy. Listen to guys like, Splash that have been in the game for a while that understand their niche and they're willing to help other people. Mentors are huge. I said it before, I was just kind of going rogue, and I think I would have saved a lot of time if I would have just invested into a really, really good mentor. I'm not going to shout anyone out. I know there's a lot of, buzz around the whole guru mentor thing, but, do your own research, ask people, look at their actual results. Do they actually care about their clients? Do your own research, find someone, get a mentor that's huge. And don't be afraid to invest into yourself. Like everyone's afraid to lose money. They'll go buy designer and all this stuff to flex, their whatever, but they won't put, $10,000 into teams and systems and a software or whatever it is. It's just like, what?
That hurt me.
Yeah.
I'm triggered.
It's different. But yeah, I mean that's it. That's all I gotta say. Really, it's
awesome.
And surround yourself with good people, like like-minded people that are doing big things as well. And
this week has been huge, yeah.
Yeah. And for any existing entrepreneurs out there, reach out. Talk to us.
Yeah, talk to us about fulfilling. If you're interested, you can hit us up.
No doubt. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the first video podcast for Keeping It Real. We're going to be doing more of this.
Oh, this is the first?
This is the first video.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, it's going to improve the quality. I just am learning about, I guess, you know, just video, audio and everything, so it's going to get better. And I'm probably going to have these guys a year later, them talking about their, you know, done software with everything that they're talking about added, and it's talking about how they've helped all these people. So it's an exciting time. You know, I think 2021 is going to be great. Hope it's going to be great for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Peace.